Lawmakers are back on Capitol Hill today after a holiday recess, but right before they left, Texas Republican Chip Roy introduced a resolution calling on Vice President Kamala Harris to invoke the 25th Amendment. Let's bring in Nikole Killion for us. She's on the Hill and can speak to us more about this. Nikole, we just heard Nancy say that, look, there's no sustained, coordinated effort to have Biden removed as a Democratic presidential nominee. But remind us what invoking the 25th Amendment would do and what that process looks like.
Yeah, well, first, before we get to that, I do want to let you know that we have some new developments, and that is a letter that President Biden has sent to congressional Democrats as lawmakers prepare to return here to Capitol Hill this week. In essence, he says that he is not getting out of this race. He says that, he has been saying clearly and unequivocally that he would not be running again if he did not absolutely believe that he was the best person to beat Donald Trump this year. He also goes on to say that the question of how to move forward has been well aired for over a week now, and it is time for it to end. So the president really trying to quell some of these criticisms that have been emerging since his debate performance last month in Atlanta. Now, to turn to your question about the 25th Amendment, that is also something that the White House continues to swat down. And I would say that, as you mentioned, this is a proposal coming from Texas Republican Chip Roy. So this is not something coming from the Democrats, but rather the Republicans. And Roy has suggested that this may come up at a GOP leadership meeting this week. This would involve, though, cabinet officials coming together and trying to attempt to remove the president if they feel that he is unable to fulfill his role. And as I mentioned, as of now, the vice president's office has said that the vice president fully supports the president. Of course, in terms of Chip Roy's resolution, he has called on the vice president to invoke the 25th Amendment. But again, a spokesperson for the vice president has told CBS News that she continues to stand by President Biden as the nominee.
And Nikole, I so appreciate you sharing that letter from Biden to lawmakers with us in real time, because it speaks to the pressure the White House is under as now Congress returns from this recess. Do you have a sense of what else might be on the agenda that we might see this week?
Well, I think this really is going to dominate headlines, quite frankly, as Nancy pointed out. I mean, at the end of the day, for the president to keep this nomination, he has to win the confidence of his party. And right now, that is teetering. Now, yes, the NATO summit is in town. We're expecting a number of foreign leaders here on the Hill. We know that the business of the Congress will continue to take place with, votes on the issues of election integrity and reproductive rights here in the Senate. But I would say, again, broadly speaking, given that this is the first time that members are coming back here to Capitol Hill, in the case of the Senate, since this debate, this really will be the first time that we will hear directly from congressional Democrats about whether they still support the president or whether they want him to step aside.
Never a slow week in Washington. Nikole Killion, thanks so much.